Hi, hello. Hi. Hello. It's time. Let's start it. Let's start on time. So thank you. Thank you, Ella. Thank you, Ali, for taking the invitation and then joining us tonight at the ScalingX Twitter space. So yeah. So again, like thank you. Also thank you, ChainIDE. So let's get it started. But before we start it, let me give you a brief introduction of myself and also my team, ScalingX. So myself, I have been in the space for 5 years. I entered when I graduated, which was 2017, and I entered the space as an investor at a VC from Hong Kong, and we invested into companies like Circle, Definity, Certic, Animoca Brands, Yuga Labs, and also um, some other really good ones. Some of them got acquired by other companies. So basically, that's my personal background, more from the investment side. And also, so I started this Scaling X 3 months ago with my co-founder Jaden. Scaling X, obviously from our name, we want to scale blockchain. We want to scale Ethereum. We want to scale them on layer 2, even layer 3. So we incubate and we invest projects who does that. And then Scaling X, in short, we are an incubator and a VC focus on Web3 blockchain infrastructure, especially zero knowledge proof technology. We aim to educate and promote blockchain infrastructure around the world. We empower early stage Web3 startups with talent recruitment, venture capital networking. We know over 100 VCs, public relations, brand building, community building, etc. We are committed to building a more scalable, transparent, secure, and decentralized network. We just launched our accelerator with a committed investment of $20 million. And we are going to host our first hackathon next month online, which is going to be global. And our co-host is Gitcoin, and the other sponsorship from other ventures as well. And also, we're gonna work with universities around the world. So the hackathon is called Hunt for X, and we provide developers and entrepreneurs with an opportunity to showcase their ideas and receive mentorship from industry experts. And it will start from March 21st. If you guys are interested, please PM me or email us on our website. You can find all kind of ways to connect us on the ScalingX profile, and you can find it. We have the link tree on our profile, so you can find everything there. So that's about it. That's our background, and I would like to get. It's our honor to have Ella and Ali to be our speakers today. And so welcome, welcome. Can you to give us a little bit introduction of yourself and also uh, of the company? I mean, ChainIDE. Welcome.
Yeah, sure. Hi, thanks for having us, Chi. And we are from ChainIDE, and ChainIDE is the world's first cloud-based multi-chain IDE for developers to create dApps on different public blockchains. A developer service platform with full feature tooling, programming instructions for beginners, and we hold a lot of hackathons and developer events for communities as well. So if you guys don't know what an IDE is, so IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, which is a phrase used to describe a software tool that aids to programmers in producing software code quickly by incorporating features like software editing, building, testing, and packaging in a simple to use program, and which it boosts the developer productivity. And we already onboarded 11 public blockchains, I believe. So including Ethereum, BNB Chain, Polygon, Aptos, Flow, and etc. So they're all supported on ChainIDE. And I think Ali will be the main guest on behalf of ChainIDE, and I might just be the host and ask Chi and Ellie the questions for today's event. Thank you.
Thank you, Ella. So I knew Ella through mutual group on WeChat, and then she's super young. She's still a student, but she's really she's very passionate. And she's really experienced. I really appreciate it. Oh, hi, Ellie. Can you also introduce yourself a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. I thank you for having me today. I am working as a community manager at ChainIDE, and Ella has already introduced ChainIDE. Like, we provide tools and educational resources to facilitate developers in Web3, and we have held hackathons, webinars, seminars, and some other events in different countries and online. ChainIDE is has more than 200 participants in different hackathons, webinars, and seminars. So we are currently supporting more than 11 public blockchains, including BNB chain, Polygon, Ethereum, and we hold hackathons in collaboration with some other companies like Amazon, Conflux, Polygon, BNB chain. The main purpose of those hackathons is to educate people in Web3. The same purpose like you also mentioned, like you guys want to educate people about the layer 2 systems or overall Web3 ecosystem. So our goal is also the same, and we are trying to achieve it with some other companies in Web3 blockchain. So today I will talk about how we can develop a DApp on Polygon blockchain. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It's our pleasure. So I think it makes sense before we dig into more details. Maybe just a little bit introduction of Polygon, and then why should we choose Polygon to develop? I mean, there's so many other ones. I mean, even just tonight I had a dinner with a group of developers. They mentioned that Aptos, Sui, they are also very popular. Move language is very popular. So what do you think about that? Like, why should we choose Polygon? Although none of us are from Polygon, so
Okay. So I will give you some reasons like why should we choose Polygon blockchain. As you mentioned, like Aptos blockchain, the one reason we should choose Polygon is it is Ethereum compatible. If you are a Ethereum developer, you can develop all the applications like you are developing on Ethereum on the Polygon blockchain. You don't need to learn anything new. The programming language is same. The EVM is same. Each and everything, all the tools are same. But if you want to deploy, create a DApp on Aptos, you will have to learn Move language, and you will have to understand other technologies. This is one reason it is Ethereum compatible. You can start your development without learning anything new. Everything is same. If you are a developer on Ethereum, it means you are a developer on Polygon. The other reason is it can process about 65,000 transactions per second, Polygon blockchain. And Ethereum can process just around 17 transactions per second. It has low transaction fee. If we talk about Polygon, it will cost you just around $0.01 for a transaction to process. But if we talk about Ethereum blockchain or some other blockchains, that is not the same case. You will have to pay much more higher than the Polygon blockchain. So what Polygon is actually, it is a layer 2 scaling solution that achieve scale by utilizing side chains for off-chain computation and a decentralized network of proof of stake validators. It enables developers to build scalable, user-friendly DApps with low transaction fees and without sacrificing on security. So these are some of the reasons you should choose Polygon blockchain. It is Ethereum compatible, interoperability feature, and low transaction fee scalability. And it has a like growing ecosystem, as we see from some past months. Instagram, Adidas have like created their NFTs on Polygon blockchain due to its cost effectiveness and high throughput. So these are some of the reasons we should use Polygon blockchain. I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, of course, it makes a lot of sense. I already heard from many of the developers from the space that the reason they chose Polygon is definitely like you mentioned, like the it's easy to use. There's no need to learn too much new things, and also low gas fee. Like even one time I was talking to a founder. I can't really tell the name, but I asked him like, okay, why you choose Polygon? He said the only reason is because it's so cheap and then we don't have much money, and that just make a lot of sense. So yeah, of course, Polygon is definitely something. For now, it has a lot of advantages here.
Yeah, as you mentioned, like sometimes when you are making a transaction, for example, if you want to transfer or mint an NFT whose amount is $20 and you need to pay like more than $20 in a transaction fee, which doesn't make sense. So that is why Polygon is our best choice.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It makes a lot of sense. So yeah, let's dig into a little bit more details on if we already chose Polygon, then how we're gonna start to build dApps on top of it. What are the prerequisites, and then how much should we understand the basic concepts of blockchain, and also how much we need to learn about Solidity, which is the programming language uh, on top of Polygon, and also is everything else is the same, or is there any other new things we need to learn?
Everything is almost same. For like before you start development, you need to have some basic understanding of a blockchain if you are not a developer before. But if you are already a developer developing on Ethereum blockchain, then like I think there is no problem for you to start uh, developing DApps on Polygon blockchain. But for those who don't have any understanding of the blockchain, they need to learn about the basic of blockchain before they get into development. They need to understand like how blockchain works, what are the consensus algorithm, what programming languages are required, what are smart contracts. They need to have good understanding of Solidity programming language that is being used by both like Polygon and Ethereum. They need to have good understanding of JavaScript, which is used to interact with the deployed smart contract. They need to have understanding of web frameworks for the front-end development and RPCs, like how they will communicate with the blockchain libraries such as web3.js, ether.js. I think first they need to have some basic understanding. Once they have basic understanding, like how things are working, how the transactions are being processed, what is a miner. Once they have understanding, then they can know like what kind of applications they should develop on blockchain. Like not all the applications should be developed on the blockchain. So if they have understanding, good understanding of the blockchain, like why it is being used, what was before the blockchain, like databases were before the blockchain. They have the knowledge of Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, like why Web 3 is introduced. So then they can introduce a very good application which has some good use cases.
That sounds like so much easier than the other ones. I'm not gonna name them, but there are so many other protocols and different layer 2 out there or layer 1. Not that easy to use, and you need to sometimes even need to learn a new language. So yeah. So can you tell us more about what are the tools required to start development on Polygon?
To start development on Polygon are the same tools you require for the Ethereum. Like there are two modes for development. Either you create a local development environment or you use some cloud environment. If we talk about like creating a local environment, we will install Truffle, Ganache, or npm node package manager, and we will install some packages like web3.js or ether.js using node package manager. One way is like we set up all the tools, all the libraries on our local server using npm, and we like processes it using command line. The other one is we use some cloud services like ChainIDE or Remix IDE. I think cloud services are much more easier for the newbies. So if they use ChainIDE, they wouldn't have to install anything on their local server. They wouldn't have to install and set up like Notch, Truffle. They can use ChainIDE sandboxes. They just need to access ChainIDE, and all the tools will be available within the ChainIDE. All the tools, libraries, each and everything will be available in the ChainIDE. They just can start writing down their smart contract, compile them, and deploy on Polygon blockchain, and then they can interact with the deployed smart contract within the ChainIDE, or they can create their front end for interacting with the deployed smart contract. And the other thing,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
other thing is they need to have RPCs, remote procedure call, uh, to interact on-chain data and send different type of transaction to the network using network endpoints. And they can get those APIs, JSON RPC APIs, using some public RPC providers such as Infura, Morales, and BlockPI, Block Spaces. There are many like companies who provide RPCs to interact with the on-chain data. So these are the tools you need to have before you can start developing your DApps on Polygon blockchain.
Yeah, since you mentioned that we can use ChainIDE, then the question is, do we need to pay for it, and how much we need to pay for it? Is it a monthly fee, or how does it work? And also, if someone, let's say, if they still have problem building Polygon on ChainIDE, do you send customer service to help with that? How does it work?
Yeah, we are providing services free of cost. We are have built templates for the users, for the newbies. They just need to go to ChainIDE and they need to choose a Polygon blockchain. They don't need to pay any services fee to the ChainIDE. All the services are free of cost. And if they face any issues, we have like our Discord.
That's amazing. Wow. Then next one. So what are the steps involved in creating DApps? So is it like the smart contract and also compilation, deployment, and interaction? So can you give us more details?
Yeah, sure. The steps are like the first of all, the users will deploy on the test network. There are two types of networks mainly used for deployment. One is test network and the other one is main network. Like if we talk about a Polygon blockchain, it has like Polygon mainnet and Matic test network. For the testing purposes, people will, like all the users will deploy on the test network first. They will analyze the behavior of their smart contract on the test network first, like everything is working fine, there is no error, and each and everything is fine. Then they will deploy the same smart contract on the main network. Because if they deploy like first time on the main network and there is some problem, they will have to pay like their gas fee will be wasted. So all the developers will like test their DApps on the test network first. For the testing purposes, usually use test network, and now I will go through the steps involved in creating a DApp. So first of all, we need to identify requirements for our DApp, like what are the requirements in our DApp, functional and non-functional requirement. For example, what kind of application we want to build, we will like write down all the requirements. So everything is clear, and yeah, if like the application is not according to the requirement and in the end changes cost more than the actual product. So we will like do some requirement elicitation, analysis, validation, and verification. After our requirements are clear, then we will move towards development. So first step is requirement clarification. You can say validation or verification. And then is like writing down a smart contract. We will go to ChainIDE or Remix IDE or any other editor like Visual Studio Code if you have set up a local environment. We will start writing down our smart contract in Solidity according to our requirements. Uh, we will write down a smart contract in Solidity. Once we have, like we will define all the rules, logics, behavior, conditions in our DApp, in our smart contract. And after we have completed writing down our smart contract, the next step is compilation. Uh, so here is a question like why we need to compile. Node has a EVM installed on their node. EVM is used to compile, used to execute the smart contract. So, and EVM cannot understand the Solidity. We are writing down our smart contract in Solidity programming language, but EVM cannot understand Solidity smart contract. To make EVM understandable, understand to our smart contract, we need to compile it first. Once we compile, we will get an ABI code. And that ABI code will be deployed on the blockchain in the EVM. Like EVM can understand to our bytecode, but not the Solidity code. So that is why we need to compile it. The first step is requirement analysis. The second one is writing down a smart contract. And the third one is compilation. After we compile, we will get an ABI code and bytecode. ABI is bytecode is deployed to the blockchain, and ABI is used to interact with the deployed smart contract. And after we the fourth step is deployment. After like we get ABI code and bytecode, the next step is deployment. We will deploy on the blockchain. For deployment, we need to pay the gas fee. So we will install MetaMask to pay for the gas fee, and we will like get some dummy tokens, some Matic tokens from the Polygon test network explorer. That is a very easy, like you will go to ChainIDE settings and add networks, Matic network, and you can find like RPC information for the Polygon network. Once you add and then you go to Polygon Explorer, and from there you can get some dummy tokens to pay for the gas fee. As like Polygon uses POS as a consensus algorithm, so validator will be given the gas fee for recording your transaction to the blockchain. So this was the fourth step, deployment. And after deployment, the next step is interaction. Like once we have deployed the smart contract, we need to make some interaction to our deployed smart contract. Here I take a simple example. For example, we have a smart contract to store some information to the blockchain and retrieve the information from the blockchain. So our smart contract has been deployed to the blockchain now, and we want to make some interaction. We will create a front end using, we can create it using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or we can use some web frameworks. Recently, like in Web3, developers are mostly using web frameworks such as Vue. React is the most commonly used framework. So either you can use a framework or you can simply create some web pages using HTML, design them using CSS and JavaScript, and you can combine them with web3.js or ether.js to like query data from the blockchain and store data to the blockchain. So these are like things needed to create front end. The fifth step is interaction. So these are the steps include in creating a DApp. So first one is requirement analysis. The second one is like you start writing down the code. And the third one is compilation. After compilation, you get ABI code and bytecode. ABI code is like used by the EVM to execute your smart contract. Bytecode and ABI code will be used for interacting with the smart contract in the fifth step. The fourth step is deployment. After deployment, you will get a contract address, and you can verify your deployed contract on the Polygon scan, or if you are using Ethereum, on the Ether scan. If you deploy on the mainnet, then you will choose main network, and if you deploy on the test net, then you will choose Polygon test net explorer. So these are the steps. I hope it makes some sense. And
Of course, it makes sense. And then, but then, what are the steps that people usually make the most mistakes? Which are the ones that you will tell people to pay the most attention to, and then to avoid mistakes?
Usually people will make mistake when writing down smart contracts, I think. So it's very easy in compilation. If you make some mistake, it will like highlight your errors, and you can check in the output section any error you made in writing down a smart contract, and you can solve them easily. I think those are like mostly people will make mistake during writing down a smart contract. The other things are simple. The other steps are very simple. And the one step I forgot is verification. You can verify your smart contract on the Ether scan or on Polygon scan. ChainIDE provides a verifier plugin for that. You just need to have an API from the Polygon scan to verify, and you can verify your smart contract only within the ChainIDE.
That's a really convincing that we should contact you, and also to use your product. So yeah, for the audience out there, if you are curious about how it's gonna work, if you adopt ChainIDE to develop DApps on top of Polygon, then you should definitely check ChainIDE. Either follow them on Twitter, or and also check their website and check how to use it. And then also, if you have any problems, you should reach out to Ali. He's out here. He's giving the speech about the details. And also in the end, just to tell you that we are going to have a Q&A section in the end of the Twitter space. So if you have any questions, be prepared, and we're gonna give you a little bit time to let you able to raise your question, and we will try to answer them. So yeah, sounds good. So another question is that what kind of dApps can we develop on Polygon?
That is another interesting question, and thank you for introducing ChainIDE services to all the users. And yeah, if they have any questions, they can reach to us on our media channels, or they can reach to me on Twitter and can ask questions. In the end, we have built-in templates. They can play with them. They can start their Web3 journey. And on Polygon, what kind of applications we can develop is a very simple answer. Like, we can develop any kind of application on Polygon that can be developed on Ethereum. It can be an NFT marketplace, a decentralized trading platform, or an exchange. It can be anything. You can deploy your ERC20 tokens, ERC721, ERC1155. Anything you want to develop, you can develop on Polygon blockchain. It supports each and everything that Ethereum.
And then maybe can you tell us a little bit more about what are the dApps are now most popular on Polygon? And also
On
maybe
Polygon, DApps Sushi Swap is like decentralized exchange, is very famous on Polygon blockchain. And except that DSwap and Poly, DeFi, there are so many applications. IDEX, EMI so many applications are like famous, and more companies are joining deploying their smart contract on Polygon due to its like low transaction charges and high transaction throughput. So like you can deploy your NFT project, game, centralized exchanges are also like in the ecosystem of Polygon. You can develop your DAO and some social media applications if you want to make some tools. Yeah, Polygon like is open to any kind of application, blockchain application.
I see. Yeah, but then there are also a few studios out there claim that they can build NFT dApps for you. Not only that, also I think there are some tools that you can use in order to build DAO or NFT. Because I mean, obviously, DAO governance is not very mature nowadays. We don't really see that many good use cases. Oh yeah, we do see, but the management can be sometimes in a chaos. So
Yeah,
yeah.
NFTs are hot recently. Yeah, there are many
Mm.
analytics platforms actually. I in the like DApp development step, I mentioned like they can use some analytics tools such as Web3 Go Footprint Analytics, Dune.io, and then like they can make a choice like what kind of applications they want to build, and they can see their competitors like what kind of applications already exist in Web3 space.
Yeah, I think this is not only the problem that for ChainIDE to try to overcome, but also it's a problem for the whole industry that we all need to put in effort into it and see how the governance can be easier to be managed, and also how can we make it easier for the DAO members to participate. Yeah, so another question is that are there any grants for the developers developing on Polygon? Although you're not
Yeah,
from
actually,
Polygon again.
Yeah, actually, there are always like hackathons and grants for the developers developing on the blockchain. They will have like whole hackathons, and there will be some grants. And for that, currently, I think there are not any hackathon going on, but usually they have hackathons from time to time. And for that, I will suggest to keep checking their website and like follow their social media channels like Twitter and keep building. And when they have like hackathons, then you can submit your project and you can win some grants.
Yeah, I have to say that Polygon is really good at BD. Their BDs are works really hard, and then um, there's so many events out there around Polygon, and then so many hackathons and different events. Um, and
Yeah.
also like for ChainIDE, I know that your product not only can help developers and founders to build on top of Polygon, but also on some other chains. Can you give us more names?
Yeah, we are currently supporting more than 10 blockchains, including Ethereum, BNB chain, Polygon, Conflux, and Definity, Aptos, Flow, Nervous Network. So we have like set up, integrated all these blockchains into ChainIDE. Users of like developers of these blockchains just need to visit ChainIDE, and we have prepared built-in templates for all these blockchains. So newbies who want to start their Web3 journey on like any of these blockchains, they can visit ChainIDE. We have like set up the whole environment from A to Z. Like they don't need to leave ChainIDE to uh, like finish their DApp development. They can develop like the whole DApp only within ChainIDE. All the tools are integrated into it. All the libraries are already installed in the chain.
Can you give us more details on the other ones? Maybe just give us the advantages of building on the, for example, like Divinity and also, yeah, the other ones you mentioned.
And yeah, with Polygon and some other blockchains like BNB chain, we usually hold hackathons for different areas like
Uh,
Africa,
mhm.
some other countries. Like for some hackathons will be like all around the world. Anyone from the world can join.
Yeah, maybe tell us the the advantages for each of them. So like for example, like some people will say uh if you don't care about the gas fee and you care about the how fast is it, then maybe you want to build something on Aptos. Or if you want to build something on around NFT, then maybe you want to choose Flow because Flow is backed by Dapper Labs, and they do have the NFT and the artist ecosystem. So different chain, they have different um, preference and they have different advantages out there. So would you summarize it for the audience here?
Yeah, as you mentioned, like each blockchain has its pros and cons. As you mentioned, Flow, it uses like a different programming language, different like virtual machine. So users, it wouldn't be like very easy for the developers who are like EVM, working on EVM supported blockchain. So they will have to get into that. And the other thing is our also ecosystem also matters a lot. And yeah, you're right. Like Flow is supporting NFTs and has its like NFT creator community. But as I mentioned before, like Polygon has its own advantages. Like it is supporting all the tools, the programming languages. So it is very convenient for the developers to work on the Polygon blockchain. And the same is like if they move to Aptos, their user base and they will have to understand like move language. They will have to learn different techniques, different concepts, different tools. So each blockchain has its own advantages and disadvantages, and it depends on like what kind of
Right. Makes sense. Sounds good. Thank you.
my
Okay,
pleasure.
so in the end, do you have anything else you want to share with the audience today?
Yeah, I think if they wanna start their journey, I would like say they can simply start with the basic concepts in blockchain. Once they have like some basic understanding, they can start playing with the smart contract using ChainIDE or any IDE they like. And yeah, if they face any issues, they can reach out to us if they are using ChainIDE. We will help them. And we are working on ChainIDE education resources also, like easy to understand educational resources, some basic concepts in blockchain, and then move to development. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So in the end, like I mentioned before, if the audience out here has any questions, then please raise your hand. It's I mean, Chain IDE so far, as I can see that it's really a tool that you can use to deploy dApps on many different chains, and then there are definitely many use cases you can use around it, and also to to try to be more innovative and try to contribute to the whole Web3 space. So yeah, if you have any question, please raise your hand. And if you don't raise your hand now, you can also go to Ali and go to ChainIDE and PM them, message them, and then try to try. They will try to solve your questions, try to give you answers. Let's see if we have any question. If we don't see anything, then this is about it. Cool. I think so far we don't have any more questions. And then thank you, Ali, for participating and joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for like joining me to
Yeah,
talk
thank
about this event.
yes, anytime. Such a pleasure to have you. So yeah, this is about it. And follow ChainIDE, follow Ali, and follow ScalingX, follow me. Thank you for today, and then let's talk soon.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Have a
Thank
nice
you. Yeah, have a nice day. Bye.
day. Bye.